headlines of VTV News. Party leader chairs meeting of personnel subcommittee of 14th National Congress. New employment prospects from FDI enterprises. And later on in our world news, Russia heightens security on eve of presidential election.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello and welcome to VTV News, coming live to you from Hanoi. You're with me, Lina Fatman. Here's the top news of the hour. Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng chaired a meeting of the Subcommittee on Personnel Affairs of the 14th National Party Congress in Hanoi on March the 13th, stressing the importance of personnel preparations for the coming Congress. General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, who is also head of the subcommittee, said together with making arrangements for all-level congresses, the party is also preparing for the 14th National Congress scheduled to take place in the first quarter of 2026.
At the meeting, the party chief emphasized that the party central committee is the supreme leadership body during the interval between two national party congresses and serves as the center of solidarity and unanimity of the entire party and people. It consists of strategic-level officials who are the quintessence of the party. They must be truly steadfast while possessing sufficient mettle, virtues, wisdom, and high prestige to resolve strategic-level issues as well as complicated situations related to national construction, development and defense and the regime's survival in a timely, righteous, and effective manner. Therefore, the party leader stressed that the subcommittee's members must thoroughly grasp the role of this extremely important issue in not only the organization of a party congress but also the party's destiny, the regime's survival, and national development. He requested that the party central committee, the Politburo, the Secretariat, and the entire political system must show the highest sense of responsibility, strong determination, and great efforts while working in a truly impartial, objective, and scientific manner and putting interests of the nation, the party, and the people above all, he requested. At the meeting, the leader also gave instructions for personnel affairs of the 14th National Party Congress.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attended the 30th anniversary of the Vietnam Asian Development Bank or ADB partnership on Wednesday. Addressing the event, the Prime Minister spoke highly of the ADB's valuable support over the past years. Also on this occasion, he hosted a meeting with the ADB President. More to follow.
In 1993, Vietnam and ADB established a crucial partnership, heralding an era of fruitful collaboration and growth for Vietnam within the global financial community. To date, ADB has allocated nearly $18 billion to around 600 programs and projects spanning various vital sectors. Addressing the ceremony, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh expressed profound gratitude for ADB's valuable assistance over the past 3 decades. He highlighted ADB's pivotal role in aiding Vietnam's recovery efforts post-war and facilitating development in key sectors. The Prime Minister underscored 3 lessons learned from the cooperative journey between Vietnam and ADB.
The first lesson is that we must clearly define the practical situation, direction, and working goals. The second lesson is to choose the right goals to achieve greater efficiency. The third lesson is that all relevant departments and sectors must effectively use ADB's capital while preventing corruption. I would like to extend my thanks to the ADB President for visiting Vietnam to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the ADB-Vietnam partnership. This demonstrates the future of open cooperation between ADB and Vietnam.
In the coming time, the Prime Minister suggested that the two sides need to have a more effective vision. In addition to providing capital assistance, Vietnam hopes ADB will continue to support the country with building institutions, advising on appropriate policies, making the best use of resources, and building socialist-oriented market economy. During the talks, the Prime Minister requested ADB to indicate the shortcomings and obstacles in the mutual cooperation. ADB President spoke highly of the sound partnership with Vietnam. He also noted that the ADB will actively cooperate with Vietnam more effectively and substantially in the future.
On Wednesday, National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ and Chairman of the Central Committee of the Vietnam Fatherland Front, Đỗ Văn Chiến, co-chaired the 5-year preliminary conference on implementing regulations on the coordination between the National Assembly Standing Committee and VFF Central Committee's Presidium.
In the past 5 years, the implementation of regulations on coordination, especially in upholding the strength of the great national unity, has achieved many positive results. The coordination of lawmaking has enhanced the quality of promulgating laws and resolutions by the National Assembly. National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ praised the proficient collaboration between the two agencies. This has been proven through social supervision and criticism plans, especially thematic supervisions of the National Assembly and its Standing Committee. Recognizing these important results, the top legislator highlighted the tasks that needs to be focused in the coming time.
We need to further strengthen the coordination to consolidate the great national unity, especially in the context of the Party Central Committee's issuance of a new policy on enhancing great national unity. In his opening speech at the 15th National Assembly, the General Secretary underscored 2 tasks. First, we must ensure the party's leadership. Second, we should promote democracy in parliamentary activities and in society, ensuring that all National Assembly decisions stem from national interests. Furthermore, we need to boosting the roles of VFF's Presidium and advisory councils in lawmaking work.
The National Assembly Chairman requested the VFF Central Committee's Presidium to actively coordinate with the National Assembly Standing Committee in reviewing activities and contents included in each side's 2025 monitoring program. Furthermore, he suggested finalizing the preliminary report for the past 5 years, aligning orientations for the future, and enhancing effective coordination between the two agencies.
Deputy Prime Minister Trần Lưu Quang hailed the World Bank for its continued support in mobilizing funding for development projects in the nation at a reception held on March the 13th in Hanoi for Caroline Turk, country director of the World Bank in Vietnam. He proposed that both sides continue working hand in hand as part of efforts to overcome difficulties faced in the implementation and finalization of projects which use the World Bank's loans. As part of efforts to deal with these obstacles, the Vietnamese side suggested negotiating and signing a framework agreement in a bid to harmonize procedures between both sides, with a specific focus on compensation, land clearance, and complaint settlement mechanisms. In response, Turk affirmed the World Bank's willingness to engage in further discussions with the Vietnamese side regarding this proposal. The World Bank greatly values its relationship with the country and regards the nation as a critically important partner. The Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs published its annual white paper on cooperation and development on Tuesday. The paper notably highlights Japan's strategy to proactively offer official development assistance, or ODA, to developing countries rather than merely responding to aid requests. This new ODA method aims to meet the needs of recipient countries and ensure mutual objectives in aid activities. Japan stresses that any aid should respect the sovereignty and sustainability of the developing nations, steering clear of potential debt traps or the use of debt to manipulate economies. The country will primarily focus its ODA efforts on Southeast Asian countries, including Vietnam, aligning with Japan's Indo-Pacific strategy and Southern Hemisphere policy. Moreover, Japan encourages recipient countries to suggest areas of cooperation, promoting a more proactive role for these nations. Coming up next, new employment prospects from FDI enterprises. An initiative to promote elephant-friendly tourism activities, maintaining duck-luck's allure to tourists.
When it comes to business, it's crucial to choose a smart location with global impact. And Vietnam might just be the location for you. Connect worldwide to advanced logistics networks. Smart hub for technology and innovation. A dynamic business ecosystem. An environment with a competitive edge.
The benchmark VN index soared to an 18-month high on Wednesday as rising risk appetite and strong return of cash flow lifted stocks across all sectors. However, foreign investors still sold more than 500 billion Vietnamese dongs on the market. The VN index climbed 25.51 points, which was at its biggest daily gain since November the 8th to finish the trading today at 1,270.51 points. This was also its highest close since September the 6th, 2022, when the index traded at 1,277.4 points. The market's breadth remained in the positive zone, with 276 stocks on the southern burst edging up, while only 54 ticks down. Liquidity also surged to over $1 billion. The banking sector led the market as 4 out of the top 5 stocks dominating the market's rallies were from the banking sector. According to the General Statistics Office, during the first 2 months of this year, the total foreign direct investment or FDI capital registered in Vietnam surpassed $4.29 billion, marking a rise of 38% compared to 2023. Notably, newly registered capital has surged by more than twice the amount recorded during the same period last year. This influx of FDI shows encouraging indications for the labor market, which has been impacted by dwindling export orders.
Income ranges from $250 to $320, inclusive of lunches, uniforms, and bonuses. These are the incentives offered by businesses to attract workers at the start of the year.
I hope to move to a new company with a more stable salary.
Vietnam currently stands out as an appealing and safe destination for foreign investors, signaling a surge of investment. However, numerous companies encounter challenges due to the shortage of skilled workers in Vietnam.
As a corporation specializing in high technology, the recruited workers must have technical qualifications, comprising a team of engineers and employees with high professional qualifications.
In Bắc Ninh, many businesses continue to expand production. These companies have registered to increase their capital to more than $700 million, and after the first quarter and by the end of the first quarter, this figure is expected to surpass $1 billion.
The need for new recruits of businesses is over 40,000, of which the number in industrial parks is over 30,000, focusing on electronics.
The labor market in the first quarter of this year is projected to reach 51.7 million individuals. The bulk of these additional employment opportunities stem from foreign invested enterprises.
It is evident that enhancing the business investment climate has generated favorable circumstances for foreign invested enterprises, thereby making a positive contribution to economic growth and expanding employment opportunities for local labor force.
Export enterprises are encouraging numerous challenges amid the escalating tensions in the Red Sea as shipping lines navigate alternative routes. Shipping costs to certain markets have surged by up to 4-fold compared to previous rates. Europe and the U.S. are among the most impacted markets. The combination of heightened prices and prolonged transit durations requires businesses to seek alternative solutions.
This company exports 2 containers per week to the U.S., but now they only maintain 50 to 60% capacity compared to before.
Previously, the cost of shipping was $150 and significantly shorter travel times. However, the fees have now tripled.
This enterprise exported 1,300 tons of seafood to multiple markets. This marked a 30% increase compared to the corresponding period. However, the company experienced a decline in profits due to elevated shipping expenses.
While customers specify the freight, any increase places a significant burden on them. Despite their willingness to bear the costs, if the situation becomes too tense, they may stop making purchases.
One of the strategies businesses are employing to retain customers is offering discounts on prices and shipping costs.
In business production, previously we needed a long period of time, but now businesses are forced to find a way to increase productivity to firstly reduce costs and reduce production time. These are two factors that businesses must adapt to. Additionally, companies today need financial assistance and supportive policies, along with collaborative solutions, to navigate and endure in the current context.
To address this situation, the Ministry of Industry and Trade suggests that businesses explore opportunities to diversify their sources of raw materials and seek alternative shipping methods to mitigate dependencies. Furthermore, the ministry advises export enterprises to include additional provisions on compensation and liability exemption in emergency situations when negotiating commercial and transportation contracts.
Good news from the central Quảng Bình province. People from Tân Trạch and Thượng Trạch border communes in the province now can access the electricity supply. The power grid project was completed with 6 transformer stations and nearly 45 kilometers of medium voltage lines. The biggest difficulty in bringing grid power to this area is the complex terrain and difficult traffic. This grid line also passes through Phong Nha Kẻ Bàng National Park. Currently, all people from the village 39 of Tân Trạch commune can use electricity. In Thượng Trạch commune, the power source has come to the center, scheduling to provide electricity to more than 300 households in next April. In the past, elephant riding was a popular tourist attraction drawing visitors to Đắk Lắk province, which boasts the largest domestic elephant herd in the country. However, the province has now ceased this practice entirely, instead launching the I Laugh with Elephants, I Stop Riding Elephants media campaign. This initiative promotes elephant-friendly tourism activities, maintaining the province's allure to tourists.
Embracing the message of the media campaign, I Laugh with Elephants, I Stop Riding Elephants. Etienne Bergeron from Krông Na commune, Buôn Đôn district, alongside numerous other elephant handlers, have voluntarily ceased elephant riding services.
Elephants are friendly to me. They are like family. Fostering friendly relationships with them will make it a little less difficult for the elephants. The income is modest, but the elephant handlers also embrace and endorse this approach to preserve the elephant's well-being.
Presently, rather than engaging in elephant riding, visitors have the opportunity to partake in feeding elephants, taking photos with them, and explore the natural habitat of these creatures.
Protecting elephant herds is crucial to preserving the environment. Upon returning here, I found the decision to not allow elephant riding to be reasonable and justified.
I am very excited to participate in this activity. Through this activity, I think that protecting elephants is very important.
At present, Đắk Lắk province boasts a total of 37 domestic elephants and approximately 80 to 100 wild elephants. Elephant-friendly tourism is not only a campaign, but also a new approach aimed at establishing a secure and hospitable habitat, thereby safeguarding the survival and growth of elephant herds.
Coming up next in our world news, Russia heightened security on eve of presidential election. And OPEC nudges up economic growth. Security in Moscow and major Russian cities have been heightened leading up to the official Russian presidential election. The number of patrol teams has increased and security measures will also be tightened at polling stations. According to the Russian Ministry of Internal Affairs and the Russian National Guard, inspection and supervision of election polling stations and surrounding areas are underway in many places. Furthermore, preventive measures are being taken to prevent illegal actions. Security teams ensure the monitoring of public order in Moscow around the clock. However, the Russian Ministry of Internal Affairs denied reports that police had been placed on high alert. Previously, several countries issued warnings about the risk of terrorist attacks in Moscow and called on their citizens to leave Russia. The European Union has recently agreed to apply new regulations to protect the rights of workers on platforms such as Uber and Deliveroo. The regulations require that the automated systems of these technology applications must be supervised by specialized staff, thereby ensuring the workers' rights. The new regulations mandate algorithmic monitoring for technology applications used in human resource management to determine the employment status of workers. These will allow them to enjoy rights and benefits under labor law, including access to paid sick leave and the right to contest automated decisions. The new regulations are expected to be voted on by the European Parliament in April. Member states will have 2 years to incorporate the new regulations into their national legal systems. The global economy is witnessing strong growth dynamics, causing world oil demand to rise by about 2.2 million barrels per day this year and by 1.8 million barrels per day in 2025. This is a forecast recently released by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC. OPEC has also raised its 2024 global economic growth forecast by 0.1 percentage points compared to previous forecasts. OPEC's report said that a robust dynamic for economic growth towards the end of 2023 is expected to extend into the first half of 2024. Accordingly, the global economy will be able to grow by 2.8% in this year and 2.9% next year. However, OPEC's 2024 growth forecast is higher than that of the International Energy Agency, or IEA. According to the IEA, global oil demand growth this year will only reach about 1.2 million barrels per day. Some 1.5 million tourists flocked to Florence, Italy last summer, up 6.6% on the previous year, while an increasing number of independent shops and residential apartments are being transformed into fast food outlets and holiday lets. Calls for urgent action to protect the city center, a UNESCO site, have been intensified after a museum director said hit and run tourism has transformed Florence into a different place.
Goldsmith Tommaso Pastelli found himself ousted from his cherished historic workshop in Florence, displaced to accommodate yet another luxury hotel, a casualty of the ongoing critique against mass tourism. With locals forced out and traditional shops disappearing, Florence is becoming an empty box.
We've been open since 1908. My father, grandfather, and great-grandfather were goldsmiths. If you get rid of us, and many others like us, you take away part of the city's spirit.
According to many local artists, the drop in the number of long-term residents is killing neighborhoods and has led to more crime, such as attempted break-ins.
People come to Florence for quality things, made painstakingly by hand. If a business is forced to close, though, it affects the whole production chain. A whole world closes, gone forever.
Visitors to surrounding villages, castles, and abbeys were up 4.5% in January. The local government has attempted to free up homes for local people and prevent rents spiraling further by banning new short-term private vacation rentals in the historic center. Despite the ban, local artisans are being evicted from workshops amid plans to transform it for tourism.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast. That's it for this edition of VTV News. If you'd like to rewatch our program, simply download VTVgo or tune in our YouTube channel. Goodbye for now.